Edo State House of Assembly on Wednesday announced the sack of all political appointees attached to members of the House. The Speaker, Right Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, announced their sack during plenary, where he noted that the decision was taken collectively by the 24 members of the House, adding that the political appointees sacked will be paid their February salary. He listed the appointees to include special advisors and senior special advisors, among others. The Speaker said the appointees were appointed by the members upon assumption of the 8th Assembly in June 2023. I think it is 2 years now, and I think the House has graciously agreed that those sets of appointees, SAs and SSAs, should be relieved of their appointments today, February 19. According to him, we will meet consequently to know the next line of action to take on that. They will receive this month's February salary, he said. During plenary, the Assembly also passed a resolution urging that security personnel who have spent over 5 years in a locality across Edo should be transferred forthwith. The resolution followed the security motion raised by the member representing Esan Southeast constituency, Osezua Ojezele, drew the attention of lawmakers to the alarming activities of criminal herdsmen in Ubiaja, which made it mandatory for traditional rulers to reside in their communities henceforth. In another development, the House passed a bill for a law to establish the State Roads Funds and the Edo State Roads Funds Board and Administration for the purpose of funding the management, planning, development, rehabilitation, construction, and maintenance of Class C and Class D roads and the rehabilitation of Class B roads in Edo State. Adamko, what do you make of this story?
First, let's take it from the beginning. For the House of Assembly, the 24 members, to decide to carry out a wholesale change in the number of their SAs and SSA. I think this is the first time I'm hearing of something like this, where entire 24 members or the entire members of the House decided to change their SAs and SSAs all at once. That's time to be corrected. Whatever the case may be, I don't know their reasons. They say he who wears the shoes knows.
They said they have that they have been gracious. They've stayed for a long time, and it's time for change. That's just what they said.
2 years.
That's what they said.
It's enough for someone to. Anyway, I don't know the terms and conditions of their engagement or the rules of engagement, so I cannot sit here and say more than I'm supposed to say. But whatever it is, they have decided they will serve them graciously 2 years. It's time for them to move upward. It's time for them to move northward. I wish the SAs and SSs all the best. But in some way too, I feel some may be recalled. But whatever it is,
depending on their performance.
Yes, but whatever it is that warranted that change is something I don't really know. So I cannot talk much about it.
Now, I want to ask a question, dwell a bit on, the way people, appointees in this instance, are sacked, the way they are employed, the way they are sacked. I know that they cannot lay claim to anything, particularly because they are not civil servants, and they cannot say, okay, there is a law protecting us from or insulating us from so and so arbitrary decision and all of that. So you can imagine hearing suddenly, you wake up one morning and hear that there was a plenary and you don't have a job anymore. Now, the question I'm asking, or what I'm driving at, is the arbitrary sack of persons, particularly appointees, political appointees in Nigeria.
Well, looking at Nigeria as a case study, every political appointee is at the mercy of his principal. And that principal can wake up one morning, either he wakes on the wrong side or he hears something which is not palatable. Without even verifying, based on emotion, they take certain decision, and that's the way it is. So every political appointee, for me, I see most of them as glorified houseboys, especially these SAs, SSAs, PAs, and all that. They are more of glorified houseboys, which they can be sacked at any point in time. No job security. It is what it is. So for me, any political appointment or any political position that has tenure still remains the best for me. You have a tenure period, that's your starting today, you either have 3 years, 4 years, or 2 years, as the case may be, and not a question of where you become a victim of hire and fire. And this kind of things, that's why most times they don't really put in their best. They tend to work in tandem with the whims and caprices of their principal, which is not supposed to be.
All right. And to a large extent, when these things happen, there is absolutely not. The question would be, what's the much ado about nothing? I mean, if you have a job that does not have any form of security, in this instance, the political appointments, there is no form of security attached to it. One would say, what's the much ado about nothing in this instance? Because, I mean, you literally, technically do not have a job.
Of course, they don't have a job. So all they need to do first, for me, this is not even a profession. Why I say it's not a profession? It's not a job. It's an appointment. So you should have a vocation, which at the end of the day, you definitely fall back to. There must be that fallback plan before going for any political appointment, knowing very well that one day you will be asked to live the same way you were called upon to come.
Right.
So there should always be that fallback plan. They should have a vocation. They should have something which they are doing, so that at the end of the day, political appointments are just called to service, either to serve your state government or serve your local government or the federal government, knowing very well that at the end of your appointment, you have something to fall back on.
Now, then again, I am also looking at the political undertone of this action. Now, to a large extent, some persons would always say that, you know, when people enter power, or when they get power, or when they are elected into an office, the next thing is to, let me use the Nigerian parlance, settle the boys, right? And hence, sometimes you see certain state governments giving ridiculous appointments. I remember a certain time in Imo State where we had Commissioner for Happiness in Imo State.
Fulfillment. Commissioner for Happiness, Enjoyment, and Family Fulfillment.
Good. That was in Imo State. That was in Imo State. But it's a real thing. And we've also had situations, even currently in River State, where a local government chairman, within a space of 6 months, has given over 300 appointments. Like currently, I think the local government chairman has over 250 SEs now, and it's still ongoing, right? So now this pressure to settle the boys, right? Pressure to, you know, create your own structure by, you know, using these appointments to settle certain persons, you know. How do you think it is harmful to the political ecosystem in Nigeria? Because, I mean, like it or yes, even though, yes, suddenly there was a plenary, and suddenly this the House of Assembly came to a round table and decided that it's time to let these people go. Some persons will still be settled by another appointment.
Of course, that's why I said practically it's not everybody that will be asked to go. Some may be lucky to get reabsorbed. Some may be unlucky and they will go. Then talking about the political ecosystem, it's not just the political
and
ecosystem.
settling of the boys.
It's not, let me take it one, from the economic point of view. Having this bloated form of appointees is something that does no good to the finances of either the local or state government. These are funds that should be plowed back into the system, either in terms of getting industries, sending it for human capital development. Rather, you're using it for some form of ridiculous political appointment, which are some of the things we have been kicking against because of the over-bloated wage structure of some of these local and state government. Granted, how many state government or local government have thought of something else apart from political appointment or some form of humongous projects? The earlier we start thinking outside the box, see how some of them can go into production, how some of them can go into some form of human capital development, is best than giving this form of political appointment with outrage. Some might even be lucky to get paid the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Later, they may not see their salary again, and you don't have anywhere to go.
All right.
So that's the way I look at it.
Okay, fair enough.